Alright guys, we are here for the finals. I am deeply sorry for how long it was taking, but yep, they decided to go AFK before the grand finals, as you do. So, just going to get into this finals, and we'll get things going. Alright then, so these guys should be ready to go. I've told them to just get on with it and start playing. So we have Patron Warrior going up against the Secret Paladin. Just bear with me one moment. And yep, so these players should be just playing it out. So this is the grand finals of the tournament. The winner will be awarded 3 HCT points, and the loser will get 2 HCT points. So there's a lot to play for here. That extra point could be the difference between you qualifying for the spring preliminaries and not. So both of these players are going to want to win and take the first GosuCup here in the EU. Alright, so a lot of pressure coming down from the Paladin here. Gets those 2 mini bots down and the Secret Keeper. The Armorsmith alone is not going to be able to do much without some assistance from spells. Probably going to just bust open a shield here. Maybe just run it into the Secret Keeper. Blessing the King seems like kind of the obvious thing here. Clear out that Throbbing Berserker, and the 2-1 can deal with the Armorsmith, no problem. Sequencing is on point, doesn't give that extra piece of armor to P1rr0. And the board is looking pretty tasty for Gladial here. Unstable Ghoul might just come down for a little bit of protection. That's 6/6. Can really wreak some havoc if left unchecked. Although it will just eat up a 2-1 and a 1-2. Dread Courser kind of does the same thing. So I don't know, I might just prefer Dread Courser in this situation. So Dread Courser does come down, like I said, it does the same thing as Unstable Ghoul in this situation. Competitive Spirit, going to be able to buff up the Secret Keeper and a Noble Sack, allow a clean trade here. And develop a lot of problems for P1rr0, but he does have the Brawl. No, it's Noble Sack and Comp Spirit, so no redemption, so a Brawl. It's just going to come down straight away here. Kind of a tech choice for these Patron Warriors. Not ran as often as they used to be in the kind of Patron versus Patron metagame.
Well played.
But the 6/6 remains, and now he's a 7/7. A Mysterious Challenger is going to come down right next to him. And this is going to be tremendous amounts of pressure on the board. P1rr0 is going to need to find some answers to deal with this, or he is just dead next turn. Unstable Ghoul will slow things down, but it might not be enough. Is there a Repentance in there? A Repentance is in there, so any weapon will stop the Unstable Ghoul in its tracks.
What?
Any weapon, consecration. Goes for a battle rage here, trying to find an execute. Doesn't find it. So an armor up and pass. An armor up and pray is going to come next. He just concedes. He wasn't taken out just yet, but doesn't feel like he can go on. So a quick game from a Secret Paladin there. Gladial. We haven't seen much Secret Paladin in this tournament. We've seen, I think, 2 in total, and a lot of people complained this deck was a little bit too powerful, but Gladial shown it still has what it takes to roll with the big boys, even though some competitive players are not running them in their lineups, afraid they're going to get countered by the patrons. So, yeah. That's game number 1. Secret Paladin takes a very swift game. Patron Warrior is still going to need to be played. Going to need to find a win somewhere. I don't really remember much of Gladial's lineup. It was quite some time ago. I know these matches have taken a long time to get underway. Alright, so we're getting into the next game, guys. Druid Mirror. Joyous Druid Mirror.
Must be preserved.
Wild growth on both sides, but Innovate for P1rr0. Innovate's gonna maybe give him a little bit of an edge with the opening hands here. Can coin out the wild growth, get on turn 3, you can innovate out the Drake, and if he finds a Shredder, the curve will look perfect. Gladial, on the other hand, he doesn't really have as strong as a hand, lacking that innovate, and lacking the drop to follow up with it. So now Innovate Lofeb could come out instead if he's afraid of a swipe, but has no fear of swipes and just goes for the Drake. Double Living Roots, not really going to achieve much here. Could just go for the double Roots clear. I quite like that. I was thinking of the Groots. Generating the Groots doesn't feel good, but I would like to see this Azure Drake taken out. They're not going to find much more application in this matchup, especially when swipe is extremely common. Just a hero power for P1rr0 here, nothing to play. A little unfortunate for him. Druid of the Claw probably going to come down in charge. Taunt form, sorry. No need to charge at this point. Can play it pretty slow. Lofeb going to come down to challenge it. Doesn't challenge it directly without a little bit extra. The other Druid player can probably just drop another Druid of the Claw and just start tanking up with these bears. Creating a bit of a wall, the Great Wall of Bears. So Swipe is going to be able to clean up one of these alone, but the Living Roots is going to help. And this is kind of swinging back and forth at the moment. Both Druids trying to keep something on board. The Gladial's in the difficult spot of wanting to clear this Lofeb. Doesn't go for the kind of risky Ancient of Law into the Innovates. Doesn't feel like that is stable enough at this point. But Gladial does have it waiting. If he finds an opportunity, he'll be able to get that 5/5 down and draw some cards. Already has the combo in hand. And an Aspirant as well to go. Aspirant, sorry, to go with that Azure Drake. Well, if there's any time to play this card, I kind of feel like it's now. I mean, you could go for the Azure and hope to get a Wrath. But yeah, you're kind of relying on something very specific there. And it's only one draw. I guess you need to weigh up what you value most at this point. Just card advantage or going for kind of a risky play. Force of Nature might just come down to clear. But you are getting rid of your combo. And I don't know how I feel about that. The Shade is still quite a threat on the board. Hasn't been revealed, so as long as it stays stealthed, I think the combo could find a bit more of an advantage. I guess he's afraid of his opponent's combo as well. It is turn 9 for him next turn. So 14, 20, 24, he's 1 off. So he'd need an Innovate with Hero Power to get it down. So it looks like it's kind of a Force of Nature here to try and make sure there's no cheeky lethal on his own Force of Nature Savage Roar combo.
Well played.
And this also takes away the ramp, so he doesn't have access to the combo now because he lost the Mana Crystal with the 2-3. Finds himself another Savage Roar, so this is Ancient of Lore time. If he picks up that extra Force of Nature, maybe with a Forison, could be lights out for P1rr0. Finds himself the Forison, he just needs the Savage Roar. Sorry, the Force of Nature to go with that. Force of Nature Savage Roar from P1rr0 side. It's only 20. So it looks like he's using his own combo here to clear. And he punches Gladial down. Wow, down to 10. So if he threatens another combo, this may put Gladial in panic mode. He has lethal in hand with Swipe Keeper. So a Hero Power, Swipe Keeper Hero Power will just be enough to finish him off. So he needs a Wild Growth into a Taunt. We've seen both the Force of Natures, or he needs to start trading into this Piloted Shredder. So if he finds a Wrath here, things might not be too bad. Innovate's not it. Could go for the Azure Drake here, try and fish deeper into the deck to find an answer. Oh, Low Feb will do it. Innovate Low Feb will lock him out. He'll only be able to do 6-7 damage. And sets up a very deadly double Savage Roar the next turn. So may force a defensive line of play from P1rr0.
Time waits for no one.
I like the attack from the Shade here. Squeezing that 5 damage. Maybe double Savage Roar will be able to clear it up if he can't deal with a lot of the board here. Oh, Dr. Boom Hero Power. Might want to trade into the Azure Drake first if that's the plan. And double Savage Roar is going to finish this game.
Well played.
Double Savage Roar Hero Power should be enough. And Gladial takes a 2-0 lead over P1rr0 in this grand final. So he is 1 game away from becoming our first GosuCup Europe champion and securing those HCT points. So we are going into potentially the last game, depending on if Gladial can find a win and take a 3-0 sweep over P1rr0. P1rr0's not out of it yet. I mean, Gladial has 1 deck left he has to win at least once with. If it lines up badly against the rest of P1rr0's lineup, it could be a bit problematic. But at the moment, Gladial's in the driving seat for winning this tournament. Our first GosuCup EU, so this could be it. And these guys are ready to go. Potentially the final game. Tournament life for P1rr0. Can he find his way back? And he is going up against a Warlock. And it is a Zoolock. Now, as we've had GosuCup tradition so far, the Zoolocks have been failing against the Druids. But this could be Zoolock's moment to shine and come back into this tournament, showing the world that it is a bad matchup for Druid, and they will get stuffed if they get lined up against it. So we'll have to see how these guys do. Like the shredders, back-to-back shredders on the coin. Always feel pretty nice. Maybe just throw away the low fab and get a wild growth, potentially. Maybe an aspirant. But I do like the back-to-back shredders. Gladial doesn't... Yeah, he has a pretty... Yeah, he's a pretty good hand, I think. Voidwalker into Dark Peddler is 1 to 2. Would have been better as a Flame Imp. You always want those kind of stronger 1-drops going into the start of a match against a Druid. But a 1-3 might just be enough to keep things going. So now he's deciding, do I innovate coin out Paladin Shredder? And since this is a matchup about tempo, I don't mind that too much. But it is a 1-3. So you got to weigh up how dangerous is a 1-3 really. I'd like to see a Dark Peddler here over a Egg, unless he's expecting some Innovate shenanigans. Then the Egg wouldn't be too bad, as you could play the Overwhelm into the Egg next turn.
Buying or selling.
Mortal Coil may help with some trading later on. So Innovate into Shredder, lines up pretty nicely. Coin into Shredder next turn, and then into low fab. So that must have been the plan all along, which I didn't spot straight away. So this is where the Mortal Coil can come in handy. But anything, if a 1-1 comes out, things would line up really nicely. That's a 2-2. Not the end of the world. But an Egg, you could go for the Abusive, I suppose, but you don't play on curve then. I would like to get an Egg down, so you can PO it next turn in case anything else comes down, like a Shredder. And Shredder's pretty much the most common minion in Druid on 4. So it could be an expectation off that coin, and Shredder does come down. And this 2-2 alone isn't going to be able to clear up the 1-3. And he doesn't attack, so he does see the threat. But Implosion might find its way onto this Shredder. But if it whiffs, it's going to not put him in the best of situations. I quite like Power Overwhelming Imp Gambos in this situation. Or Abusive Imp Gambos, which I think he's going to go for. Oh, I don't know about that way. I was thinking of Abusive Egg, kill the 2-2. Do the 1-3 up. So Swipe is probably going to come down. Doesn't pop open the Egg first. Maybe doesn't feel the need to.
Job done.
Now the board is in favour of P1rr0, but we do get Imp Gambos into Egg. And I like that play. Even though it feels a little bit slow, it sets up some nice stuff for next turn. I don't see a sense of urgency to go Power Overwhelming at this point. Power Overwhelming will find a lot more value going against stuff like Druid of the Claw, which might come up next. Keeper of the Grove's not a bad pickup. Can silence one of the eggs. But Druid of the Claw is on curve. Could play in charge form, hit the 2/4, and finish off the 1/1. And the eggs just seem like a very passive.
Where shall I strike?
It goes to the bear form. Just playing a more defensive play.
Job done.
Oh, and now we have one power overwhelming, and maybe an implosion. I like using the 0/2 at this point because swipe may open that egg for you. So, yeah, I think power overwhelming on the 0/2 is a lot better.
So many possibilities.
Can't seem to decide here. I don't think tapping's the way forward. Unless you're definitely going for the abusive. I don't see the point in using it on the 0/1. Especially when swipe exists. Now the board's looking pretty nice for Gladial. Maybe go for the ping on the imp, but silencing the egg is a much better prospect here. These 4/4s can get out of hand very easily. Just some clean trading going on. I think you just implosion the 1/2 and then trade into the 2/4, and then you can play the peddler. It does open up the peddler play. But if you roll 4, you can't play peddler, so that's another thing to consider. Unless you want to go for the imp gambos trade on the 1/2 first, then play the peddler and see what you get, and that may influence a tap potentially. Or just playing the 1-cost minion that comes from that. Or spell.
Many possibilities.
There's a lot of different ways you can approach this turn.
Almost out of time.
Let's see if you can get the peddler. It's a 4, so no peddler. You can go for the tap. Find something for next turn. Oh, the swipe off the top. Can't do much more though. Do you hero? I think you hero power the imp gang boss first. Doesn't generate another guy, and then because the board is full, it doesn't generate another dude as well, if I remember rightly. You can do it this way as well, but you take 2 extra damage.
Job done.
Definitely a turn you want to be getting Dr. Boom down, but not really an option there. Needed to get that swipe down that board. Looking a little bit too much, too threatening. And now Gladial's getting dangerously low. One combo could definitely upset him going forward.
Buying or selling.
Argent Squire definitely seems the best pick there. Don't want to give him health with a zombie chow. This is the Leroy variation if I remember correctly, so there's no Doom Guards to be expected. So P1rr0 is eyeing up Keeper of the Grove here. This might just be an opportunity to play Dr. Boom. You've already seen a Power Overwhelm and you've already seen Double Abusive Sergeant. So Leroy Power plus 3, 5, 16. So most you're looking at. Flame Imp is not a good draw. He's not getting the power plays he needs like Sea Giants. And tapping just feels dangerous. does have a way to deal with the Druidic Claw, so he's going to have to find 1 extra damage if he does want a combo. So he does stay just out of range, but you can't be feeling good as a Zoolock at 15 health against a Druid. Defender of Argus is one of the cards that's going to protect you, at least. And you can land the Defender of Argus on the Argent Squire, which is always very nice, getting that Divine Shield. Part of me would want to Argus the egg, but another part of me would not want to, because I'd want to get the spider up to 3 health. 3 health is a lot more durable. I think you just go for the Flame Imp here as well, because if you don't draw anything next turn, you're going to have to tap anyway. Well, this Force of Nature, but there isn't a Savage Roar to go with it. Keeper of the Grove is going to silence that spider, and Loatheb's going to come down. So he's not far away from finishing him off. So not playing that Flame Imp was the difference of you having an extra free attack on board and being in pretty much the same spot you were in before. Combined with the Direwolf Alpha as well, if you played the Flame Imp on the left, you could have used the Egg and the Flame Imp to take out the Loatheb. And I can see the hesitation and not wanting to play it, but you have to consider if you're going to withdraw like he did on the Direwolf Alpha, you're going to just want that minion down, and it would have made a big difference. So I think now the Loatheb comes down, you've definitely dropped the Flame Imp, because you want to have as much power on board to be able to finish him off next turn. Yeah, cleaning up Loatheb seems fine, I guess. Using the spy. Oh, I like using the spider. Play the definitely play the Flame Imp now. You missed out last turn. Loatheb's down. Not too afraid of combo. And No Taunt is going to save him with an Iron Beak Owl in your hand. And Innovate is a withdraw here, so he's going to have to hero power into the Argent Squire to pop up on that shield, take 2 damage, and then clear it. So how much do we have here? 1. So that's 10, 12. Needs 1 more damage. Ooh, goes for the tap. That's not it.
Well played.
So Dr. Boom can come down. Alright, Boombot shenanigans. Kills the wolf. So now he can't trade into the Dr. Boom. And that is going to be P1rr0's game. He's going to take this match, and it's going to be going into a game number 4. I think a big difference in that game for Gladial was not playing that Flame Imp. I can understand why he didn't feel very safe without the Loatheb behind it, but that was the difference in damage he needed. He was only 1 off. So if he had played the Flame Imp, he would have found the win there. So a bit unfortunate. I can see why, but I think in a situation like that, if he has combo, he has it. If he doesn't, you play for the win. It was very close, but I think the issue as well was that Gladial had already expended a lot of his burst damage. 2 power overwhelmings, 2 abusive sergeants. So, you know, it's just something to consider. But we're going into game number 4 here. P1rr0 could still come back and win this tournament. It's going to be a Zoolock mirror. So to see what differences are in these decks. To see if these players are going to make any difference. Not a bad curve for P1rr0 so far. Gets the 1 into 2. Flame Imp in Gladial's hand is great. You know, keeps the entire hand. It's very interesting. I might have considered throwing maybe just the implosion. I can see a merit in keeping an owl. If you owl an egg at the start, can usually be pretty good. Oh, Direwolf Alpha off the top. So gets to deal with that Flame Imp. Oh, you could just go face. So this is where the owl can punish the Direwolf Alpha. I don't mind that. You keep more stuff on board. And a thank you comes from Gladial. A bit of bad manners from him. There we go. So now the Direwolf Alpha will probably have to go into the Flame Imp. And the Voidwalker didn't take the opportunity he needed to take him out. So the Flame Imp gets the 2 for 1. So let's see if a lesson was learned. And yes, taking out that Flame Imp. So now we have Abusive Sergeant Imp Gambos off the coin. Could roll on the Implosion. It's a bit of a gamble. But if he rolls a 4 and he clears up the Peddler, the only response that's going to come from P1rr0 is either Haunted Creeper tap at this point, or an Implosion of his own. But the cleaner way to deal with this would be Abusive Sergeant into the Imp Gambos, which I think is just a more consistent and stronger line of play in this situation. So now this is awkward. The Imp Gambos makes things a little shaky. I think you want to play the Haunted Creeper first before rolling that dice, but he didn't. And now he can't play a minion.
Job's done.
Very interesting there. I would have went for the Haunted Creeper first to guarantee minion on board. And maybe this Knife Juggler will be able to snipe. I guess you go for the Voidwalker. It's not as mana inefficient, but if the knife doesn't land, you at least... Oh, well, I would have went for the Haunted Creeper if you're going to trade. So Implosion's going to come down on the Knife Juggler. That's pretty much a given. Can't leave that guy up, especially when the opposing Warlock can also throw around his own Implosions. Want to find a Mortal Coil off this Peddler. Oh, what? Stone Tusk Ball. Stone Tusk Ball plays around Argus. Power Overwhelming gives you Burst. I think Power Overwhelming is just a little too tempting to take. as much as I would have liked a Stone Tusk Ball here as well, because then he just would have a dead play. But you can't always read an Argus, because now he can play Leper Gnome Argus. But he could have made that play anyway, so it's not too bad. Power Overwhelming, like I said, far too tempting. And this Zoolock runs the Leper Gnomes as well. 1 golden, 1 normal. So you have the Leper Gnome King and the Leper Gnome Slave, I guess. The non-golden one. The one without the bling. And so far, this matchup, for these two players specifically, has been kind of like a battle of the weenies. All the little minions are getting involved right now. We haven't seen any heavy hitters come down, like a Doom Guard or a Sea Giant. So they're just kind of chipping away at each other on board, waiting to draw the big guns. Low-Feb does find its way to Gladial's hand, but now he can't play it. Gonna go for the gamble, the Implosion. What's he gonna roll? And he hits the 4 as well. And now a full board clear can come down. Doesn't even have to use the Leper Gnome. Hoping he'll run himself into the Voidwalker. But the Imp Gambos is a brilliant top deck there, allowing him to drop the Argus And the Leper Gnome lives to fight another day until this turn. And he's going to demand 2 cards from his opponent. Power Overwhelming from the Dark Peddler before lines up beautifully there with the Imp Gambos. Going to be able to take him out very cleanly. And these little imps are going to get a lot of work done, a lot of mileage out of them. Just trading into the board. Loatheb going to come down, block out that Implosion in hand. I'd like to see a Loatheb. I don't think I'd want to see an Implosion at this point. It's not as mana inefficient as, say, Loatheb Peddler, but you don't really have space. And this also sets up potential Sea Giant draws in the future, which I quite like. Ooh, that is a whiff draw, going to demand a tap here. Ah, that's not a great draw either. May come in handy later, but right now, not going to be that great. And all these 1/1s are going to get a lot of work done here. They're going to be able to clear up the entire board, leave the 5/5 down. Can even throw out an Implosion for good measure, just to play more stuff down on the board. But Peddler going to come down first, see if he finds anything tempting to play. Soulfire, it's not bad. Voidwalker is great for tanking 1/1s as well. So I'd like to see these 1/1s go into the minions on board. Or I'd like to see at least 2 of them go into them. And then we see an Implosion come down. Oh, just go for egg. Egg tap, or tap. And then maybe egg Voidwalker. That is definitely another line you can go down, I think. Picks up a Haunted Creeper instead. That's fair enough. So Gladial's keeping this board nice and clear. Playing it how you should. Another Power Overwhelming, so a lot of potential bursts for P1rr0 here if he's running that Leroy. So Implosion on the 2/2. Try and limit that damage. But that 1/3 is going to be able to soak him up quite nicely. A Knife Juggler going to get that great interaction with the Haunted Creeper. And the Implosion, so knives are just going to go flying here. And this could be the game set here for Gladial. And it is. So Gladial is your first GosuCup EU champion. He'll be walking away with 3 HCT points, Hearthstone Championship Tour points. And P1rr0 will be getting 2. And our other runner-ups who lost in the semi-finals will be getting 1 each. So well played from both players. This was the GosuCup EU from GosuGamers.net. And if you'd like to sign up for this cup, go to GosuGamers.net/Hearthstone. You can find more information on our page. If you are from the Southeast Asia region, you can sign up for the SEA Cup on Sunday, running identical to this one, where I'll be casting and streaming the cup live. So if you are from that region, be sure to check out that cup as well. So that is the tournament over. Thank you very much for tuning in out. I know we had some long breaks, but we're going to try and work on them for future streams. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next time.